The UK's commitment to European security is unconditional and immovable.
The United Kingdom launched a new diplomacy on Thursday amid heightened tensions between Russia and the West over Ukraine. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson met with NATO Secretary-General John Stoltenberg in Brussels to discuss the latest developments in the region. British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss was welcomed by her Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow to de-escalate the tensions in Eastern Europe.
This is probably the most dangerous moment, I would say, in the course of the next few days, in what is the biggest security crisis that Europe has faced for decades, and we've got to get it right.
The United States and the European Union have threatened Russia with sanctions if it attacks Ukraine. Moscow, still Europe's biggest energy supplier, despite already being under sanctions since annexing Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014, has largely dismissed new sanctions as an empty threat.
We are providing defensive support to Ukraine. It's why we're working to strengthen support across NATO, and it's why we have put in place a much tougher legislation on sanctions, so we are ready in the event of an incursion. Now, my purpose here in Moscow today is absolutely to avoid that outcome.
Idealized approaches, ultimatums, threats, moral teaching. This is the road to nowhere. Unfortunately, many of our Western colleagues are now carried away by just this form of their public activity. I can't call it diplomacy.
NATO says Russia has more than 100,000 troops stationed on Ukraine's border, including 30,000 in Belarus, for joint military exercises this month. Russia denies it is planning to invade Ukraine, but says it wants security guarantees that include a promise of no missile deployments near its borders and a scaling back of NATO's military infrastructure.
We are prepared to listen to Russia's concerns and ready to discuss ways to uphold and strengthen the fundamental principles of European security that we all have signed up to.
Uns allen ist bewusst, das Baltikum ist unmittelbar betroffen von den besorgniserregenden Militäraktivitäten, die Russland sowohl an der ukrainischen Grenze als auch in Belarus entfaltet.
The alliance has to be ready to act quickly and decisively in the region. Allies' military readiness and presence in our region remain key elements of credible deterrence. It is vital to strengthen the eastern flank of NATO.
We must be aware of not giving any concessions, even small ones, at gunpoint. Our focus is on supporting Ukraine. De-escalation cannot come at gunpoint and at the expense of Ukraine. Estonia offers Ukraine political and also practical support. We help them with the defensive military aid and expertise.
The way to have a discussion and to negotiate with the Kremlin is from a position of strength, not from a position of weakness. In the European Union and in NATO, steps are being taken to strengthen our position, also our military position in the entire eastern flank, from the Baltic Sea down to the Black Sea. And Germany is playing a very important role.
You put American troops to rescue and get Americans out.
There was no good time to get out. But if we had not gotten out, they acknowledged that we would have had to put a hell of a lot more troops back in. It wasn't just 2,000, 4,000. We would have to significantly increase the number of troops, and we were back in this war of attrition. And there was no way we were ever going to unite Ukraine. I mean, excuse me, Iraq, Afghanistan. No way that was going to happen.
Russia started the active phase of military drills in Belarus on Thursday. Footage released by the Russian Defense Ministry showed tanks and missile launchers being used in the drills and military jets in the air in the unidentified Belarus drill location. Russia was expected to have 30,000 troops in Belarus, as well as Spetsnaz Special Operations Forces, Su-35 fighter jets, S-400 air defence systems and nuclear-capable Iskander missiles.
We are seriously concerned about the security situation in and around Ukraine, both in Donbass and as regards Russia's growing military presence along the border with Ukraine and in Belarus.
Mirroring the military exercises in Belarus, Ukraine launched its own war games that, like Russia's Allied resolve drills, will run until the 20th of February. Moscow's military build-up includes the deployment of troops on the territory of Russian ally Belarus for sweeping joint drills. The Ukrainian capital is located just about 75 kilometers south of the border with Belarus, and the West fears that Russia could use Belarusian territory to invade Ukraine.
What we're committed to in the case of Ukraine is doing everything we can to defend Ukraine's territorial integrity, its sovereignty, its independence, which unfortunately is being challenged right now by Russia. If Russia chooses to renew its aggression against Ukraine, we've made clear, not just us, but countries throughout Europe and even beyond, that there'll be massive consequences. So my hope is that Russia will be deterred by the actions that we've taken to bring together many, many countries that stand against renewed aggression by Russia in Ukraine.